All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Inside CKP. There is nothing wrong with your screen. Due to some technical difficulties, you will not be seeing our shining faces tonight, but you get to look at these lovely book covers. Of course, you get to see Diane's face because I put her on the screen. I'm not putting my ugly mug on the screen if I don't have to. So, welcome everyone. Thanks for people already commenting. Keep it coming. You can be a part of the show when you comment. So we've already got a few in here, but before I get to those, let me introduce my guest tonight, and it is Miss Diane Thornley Reed. Welcome again. It's been a minute since you've been on. How are things going?
Pretty good. We just found out we have a tornado watch all over Houston tonight. So if I end up going to Oz, that would happen. But yeah, we're here. We're on the right on the Gulf in
All right.
Houston. So
All right.
otherwise,
Well,
it's
so everybody, just if we lose her, hopefully we'll get her back. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna front load this show, and there's gonna be a giveaway. There's gonna be a reading, and we'll kind of talk about that here in a second. Um, and we're gonna do that early on. And so this is a comment kind of driven show. So if you want to say something funny, something snarky, uh, go ahead. You might end up on the screen. And Diane, why don't you go ahead and tell them about the giveaway, how we're going to judge the winners.
okay. I tossed this out to my Patreon people
Mhm.
and said, I've got two ideas in mind. Would you rather have our heroes facing down a pair of very hungry shekrels in a nighttime jungle, or would you rather have them dealing with an erupting volcano? And I put it up for a poll on the Patreon and tossed it out to my newsletter people too. And the volcano won by a close margin. I was intrigued that how close the voting was.
Mhm.
So we've got a volcano in the mix, and this comes in toward the end of the book. And Jeremy, do you want me to go ahead and read?
Well, let's before you start reading, let's tell the people how they're going to win
Oh,
the
okay, good,
giveaways.
good. All right. Okay. So pay attention because there's going to be a quiz afterward. No, I was never a school teacher. But what I want you to do is think about we're dealing with. I'll put out the question when I finish reading, and whoever comes up with the most creative and fun and shenanigator responses to this question, we're giving away 3 copies of Trial by the Gods, your choice of ebook or print. And put on your shenanigator hats,
All
and I'll
right.
throw a question when I finish reading.
No, that's awesome. So, and before we get started, let's see. Uh, oh, Jimbo McCoy says he's already read the book and it's a good one. I'm sure it is. I haven't read it yet, but don't you have another announcement about one of your previous books?
Yes, I do. Crucible for the Gods, Book 3, was released in audio yesterday.
Mhm.
So, Running Mountains and Crucible are out in audio. And I've been working with James Cheatham, and I listen in. He's given me the link to Discord, and so I can watch and listen while he's actually narrating and recording, which is very helpful because if he has a question about pronouncing some of these Chalka names, he can say, "Okay, Diane, how do you say this?" And I can tell him. And so it's we've caught prevented a lot of snags that way. And we got up to chapter 21 today of Apprentice to the Gods. So he's going through that one really quickly. And yeah, probably within a month we'll see that one out in audio too. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get started on book 6, Warrior of the Gods. So anyway.
Wow, I like that process. I haven't heard of audio narrators or book narrators doing it that way before, because usually they get they say, oh, how do you what's the, the keywords you want to make sure that I pronounce that might be a little different, and you get that ahead of time, but you don't get that live, ongoing help. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we did have that discussion before he started the first one,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's new characters coming
Mm-hmm.
along and showing up, and a new place names and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very helpful to be able to, and it's really interesting. I've learned quite a bit about what it takes to record an audiobook just by sitting in on his Discord.
Are,
So
are we
it's
gonna
been quite a process.
are we gonna try and narrate one of our own books in the future, or
Me,
yeah?
uh, I I have a male character,
Oh, so
and I guess I do have a low alto voice,
yeah,
so I suppose I could.
yeah,
And of course, it's all from his first person Ku's point of view. So I suppose I could, but I'm not a voice actor.
yeah,
And
yeah.
James is really good with all of the other voices and stuff like that. With some of the accents, he's got accents for. I mean, a lot of Ku's flight mates come from various different cultures, various different worlds, and so he's we've talked about their accents and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm pretty impressed. The first one, he uh, well, running did start out as a young adult book, and then I realized no, I need to age Ku up
Mm-hmm.
just because of stuff he has to do later in the series. But the audiobook of running does sound more like a young adult book, and he kind of gave Ku more of a young adult persona, which kind of fits
Yeah,
because he's kind of fresh off the farm, you can say, in that and dealing with some uh, unfamiliar situations. So then that, but he's growing into his eventual role little by little. There will be
yeah.
7 books, so
Well,
it's
I find that very cool because I'm an audiophile. I love audiobooks, and nothing will take me out of an audiobook than just kind of a humdrum performance. But some of these narrators will come in and just add so much to a book just from like what you were talking about with the accents and and how they inflect and how passionate they get about the story and all that, and it really makes for a great performance, and I really enjoy that. I tend to I do other podcasts for other publishers, and I will use
right.
an app called Speechify that will read the book for me because I can do it while I'm doing other things. And but unfortunately with Speechify, it's this very almost robotic voice that talks like this, kind of like my own voice. And it
You don't sound robotic.
I I get that way sometimes, but it's it really takes me out of it sometimes. But when there's in retrospect, when it's a live person and they're doing the voices and they're really getting into it, it just brings that book alive. So I'm excited to listen to your book eventually. Um,
One one thing that's fun too is James will send when he finishes it, he'll send the MP3 files to Chris.
mhm,
And I'm not sure exactly what process Chris has, but within sometimes 12 hours, Chris has sent it back to me, and so I get to go through file by file, chapter by chapter. James records them chapter by chapter, so I get to go through and listen to it chapter by chapter, and just to see if there's any catches. There was one when we were doing oh, I think it was Crucible. There was
mhm,
a couple of days when I couldn't listen in, and so that was when I was. And he did probably 3 or 4 chapters during that time period that I missed not being on Discord, and that was the day that I found where there'd actually or accidentally been different words put in from what's. So I follow along with the print copy of the book in hand, and so I can follow and see where then I'll record what chapter and what time hack if I find something, but and just let him know. I'm kind of keep a little spreadsheet
Mhm.
that I send off to him when I've gone through the whole book. But it is really interesting to go through and listen to it chapter by chapter and see what he's done.
No, and
Anyway,
another thing that'll take me out is when they pronounce a word differently than either I think it should be pronounced or the way I've heard it pronounced before. And I was like, what are they talking about? Because I was reading the Shannara Chronicles or
right,
the
yeah,
Shannara books recently, and they say Shannara instead of Shannara. And I was like, what
huh,
are they talking about? And then I finally realized what word they were saying. I was like, okay, I just got to frame my mind to say that's how they say it. But it can throw you off. So it's pretty cool that you're able to chime in almost real time and make those corrections.
yeah, yeah. It's like I say, it's been a really interesting process, and I've learned a lot
Yeah.
about doing audiobooks.
Well, we've got
So,
some more comments. People have read the book and say it's fantastic. Um, and you're right, Sheila. Southern. I sometimes I forget I'm Southern. Well, not anymore. I'm up here in the north in Massachusetts now, and I remember that I'm Southern every day. So you're right. The Southern drawl kind of makes it not robotic. All right.
and I'm
Oh,
starting to pick up the y'all and stuff here. It's
well, how long
taking a
have you been
while,
down
but
south?
um, I married a rocket scientist, and he brought me here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been 23 plus years.
Okay.
So yeah, it's taken me a while to absorb some of the Texas lingo. I'm actually picking up a little bit of Espanol
Oh
along the
yeah.
way
Oh yeah.
too. Yeah.
My my wife Marisa, she says y'all more than I do now, and she's from
Oh,
Massachusetts. So,
really?
oh yeah. All right. Well,
Uh,
before we go too much further, let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and do the reading, just in case you lose power or get cut off or anything. So we'll do that, and then we'll do the giveaway shortly after.
okay. Yeah, and I'm hearing thunder outside, so yeah, we
All
better
right.
get on it, I guess.
All right.
So I will try
You
not to
have.
rush. So I'll try to enunciate. So, but
All right. You have the
I'll get
floor.
all right. And this is from a late chapter. I don't remember exactly which one. A brilliant orange flare at the volcano's broken crest, maybe 6 ranges up from the enclave when I estimated the slope of the mountain's face, penetrated the smoke enough to snatch my vision. That time, the warning tingle at the nape of my neck sent a shiver all the way down my spine. I snapped my helmet's zoom goggles down and requested in a dry mouthed croak, magnify by 20. The goggles blurred for an instant before their adjusted focus seemed to put me fewer than 50 arm lengths from the smoke veiled peak. While I watched, a blazing swell as thick as maize porridge poured out of the cone's broad fracture. Demon's pottage tipped from a cauldron. My heart missed a beat. No time for a rain chant now. A shout rose from across the plaza. What's that fire on the volcano? Is that lava? Running bootfalls and Coda calling my name from behind made me wrench about to face him as I pushed my goggles up. He arrived with Mentor's Woheavy and Amik on his tail. They must have seen it through their zoom goggles too, because grimness paled their features behind their faceplates. Urgency quickened Coda's speech. You can change the lava's course, Ku, the same way you called for the wind on deployment. I told them how you did it. The wind that diverted the ashfall. Instantly fearing he might have revealed too much, I switched my helmet's comms to private and demanded, exactly what did you tell them, Coda? He raised defensive hands in front of himself. Only that you're a chanter's apprentice, an advanced one, and I've seen you handle things like this before. A stiff gust of sweltering wind shoved me, and I swayed on my feet. That was a chant to air spirits, I reminded him, and it took almost 12 hours to accomplish, even with half the squadron chanting with me. I glanced up at the iridescent glow on the volcano's peak. We don't have that long this time. I started that chant fully rested too, if not fed, I thought. I tried to rub my pounding forehead, but my hand struck my faceplate. We'll all help however we can, Coda said. Our lives depend on it. Our lives depend on it. Really didn't need to be reminded of that, Coda. I only nodded. I'd already shifted my thoughts to how to do it. Change the lava's course. That'll need an earth spirit chant. Ma Pia said my greatest ability is with earth spirits, but they're stubborn and slow to respond. Where can I safely divert the lava to? I asked. Demon's Ditch would hold it, Coda suggested. No, not there. My innards clenched. Last I heard, Orange Clan was sheltering from the wildfire in the ditch. Mutters filtered through my helmet's earphones. Only then did I notice several others, Kalataka trainees and civilians alike, pressing close around Coda, the two mentors, and me. Woheavy had already had his datapad active on his palm. With a few finger strokes, he opened a tri-D projection of the volcano and prodded it to such a close view we could have been hovering over its caldera. The image was 2 days old, and the seething magma, still 60 or 70 arm lengths below the rim then, lit every crag and fissure with an eerie scarlet radiance. I could easily imagine its heat searing my face. Here's where it's starting to spill out, Woheavy said, from this break straight up the mountain above us. He poked a finger into the hologram. And here's Demon's Ditch. He traced the trench with his finger before he rotated the image a bit and closed in still more. After a few moments' scrutiny, he muttered, Yeah, here you go, sir. Part way around the cone. The rim looks thinner there. Might be cracking already. I studied it and nodded acknowledgement. If I can persuade earth spirits to open a fracture there, I thought, it'll make an ideal channel for the lava, lower than the break it's pouring from now. Much easier than trying to redirect it when it really starts flowing from the top. Where's the lava most likely to go from a crack there? I asked Woheavy. Into this little valley on the north shore. He poked at the projection again. Between this volcano and that one. He jerked a thumb toward the smaller western peak, rising beyond what remained of the rainforest. Coda leaned in to see. That's the tunnel training area. I don't have any problems with lava burying it. Under less threatening circumstances, his flippant remark would have prompted concurring chuckles from the other trainees. As it was, I peeled off my helmet once more and sank to sit on the ground. Need to prepare. Nostos and Pyatt, our medics, immediately crowded in and dropped to squat before me. You should eat something first, sir, Nostos said. I've still got those extra meal bars. He fumbled in a pocket of his combat vest. You need to drink, too, Pyatt said. You've got to stay hydrated. He returned his water skin to my hands. I usually fast before major chants like this, I said. Not this time, Per. This is where James would stop and correct things. Not this time, sir, Pyatt shook his head. You're already depleted from doing the healings. You need all the fuel you can take in. For the next few minutes, I alternated between wolfing down meal bars and glugging water under their insistent gazes, but I kept my own eyes focused on my lap. Help me do this, Starfather. Give me the strength to do this. They're all depending on me for their lives. I can only do this with your help. When I straightened from sitting to plant myself firmly upright on my knees, I found every able-bodied soul in the enclave gathered around to watch. Due to their glaring helmet lamps, I couldn't see most of the trainees' faces, but the civilians' expressions, visible in the helmet's wide beams, varied from skeptical to anxious to hopeful. Remembering again the multitudes of hands touching my head, shoulders, and upper arms at Yellow Rock Enclave, and the hundreds of voices raised with mine in my altered chant to air spirits, I said, I need all of you to chant with me. Starfather grants more power when many people chant together. Listen to my words the first time, then join me for the repeats. Coda, Nostos, and Pyatt stepped up at once, followed by Woheavy, Amik, and Utina, then somewhat self-consciously by most of the civilians. Everybody shuffled into a tight knot about me. Those who stood closest placed a hand on my shoulders, upper back, or head. Those who couldn't touch me directly laid a hand on the ones who could. Under their combined weight, I sensed their fear, mingled with cautious hope, heavy as a loaded rucksack settling on me. Accept and learn to love this burden, my son Wanakia, Shaman Shia whispered to my mind. It is the souls of my children. Show them my love for them through you. I will, Shaman Shia, I thought in return. I'll need your strength to save them. A tide of infinite compassion washed over me, powerful enough to rock me on my knees. I rested both palms reverently on the cindery soil and tipped my face skyward with my eyes closed. My voice held steady while I sang the chant for living and lifting and moving heavy things. Oh, ancient ones who built the worlds, who gave them hearts and ribs of stone, send earth spirits to our aid. Send earth spirits to work with us in harmony and beauty. I kept my eyes shut when I began the chant the second time. I recognized the voices that joined me at once, Koda, Payat, Nastas, and Rohavi. Others, still with some uncertainty of the words, but with unmistakable earnestness, came in on the third repetition. When I sensed the lumbering earth spirits gathering, I visualized the thinner portion of the cone Rohavi had shown me with its nascent fracture. I formed a mental image of the crack as if it were the seam between double doors, and raised my hands in front of me to imitate thrusting my fingers into the space. Still chanting, I applied physical effort to separate my hands, to part the ancient lava ropes. I imagined them breaking enough to send jagged scree clattering down the slope. My straining caused burning through my shoulder muscles and upper back. I clenched my teeth and forced my words out in grunts. The earth spirits recoiled. Ghostly groans and rumbles overrode my pulse, drumming inside my skull. Why are you hurting us, Wanakia? Why do you want to break and damage us? I started. Is that earth spirit speaking to me? My hands instantly dropped onto my knees, and I sat panting and shaking. With my eyes still closed, I listened and thought to them, Earth spirits? I didn't mean to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you, but I need your help. Someone picked up one of my hands and wrapped it around a half-full water skin. Drink, sir, Pyatt ordered at my ear. You're sweating. You've got to stay hydrated. I lifted the water skin and drank some of its lukewarm contents without opening my eyes. A little water overflowed the corners of my mouth and trickled down my chin and neck, providing fleeting relief in the jungle heat. What can I do, Earth spirits? Teach me. I need you to help me. Why did he give up? An unfamiliar, anxious voice queried behind me. I can see lava coming now. I shook my head to reassure the unknown speaker, lowered myself to a sitting kneel, and bowed over my knees. Most of the hands resting on my head and shoulders withdrew when I hunched, but I pleaded, teach me, Earth spirits. Something Mentor Amek had once told me, or was it just last night or a phase ago, rose to my mind. This particular lava is more flexible than the brittle sandstone you're used to. Flexible. Doesn't break like sandstone. Earth spirits, can you bend? The deep groanings resumed, like groundquakes speaking to my soul. Why should we bend for you, Wanakia? What purpose will it serve? It'll save my people, I thought it was, and stiffened when the meaning of my shamanic title fully struck me for the first time, piercing as a lightning strike. I am the preserver of my people. Something else occurred to me with my heart's next labored beat. If you can bend enough to open a way out of the caldera, it'll release your brother and sister spirits trapped inside. It'll set them free. For a space that seemed forever and ponderous, counted only by my heartbeats, I waited. We will bend to free our brothers and sisters, Anakia. Ask and show us how, with respect for our might. I nodded. I will, Earth spirits. Still without opening my eyes, I rose onto my knees again and drew a full breath. I understand the Earth spirits now, I said aloud. My voice trembled with deepening fatigue. I need all of you to chant with me again. Hands promptly returned to my head and shoulders, and I chanted, "Oh, ancient ones who built the worlds, who gave them mighty hearts and ribs of stone, send earth spirits to our aid. Send earth spirits and teach us to work with them in harmony and beauty." When I visualized the ropey lava spills next, I raised my hands to stroke them as if down the backs of faithful dogs. "Send earth spirits," I repeated, "and teach us to work with them in harmony and beauty." I imagined the ancient lava ropes swaying apart like grasses blown by a breeze. With my mental image came an impression from earth spirits of willingness and cooperation. I murmured again, "Oh, ancient ones, send earth spirits and teach us to work with them in harmony and beauty." A tremor beneath my knees from the enclave's cinder floor prompted scattered gasps. I opened my eyes. The ashfall haze had thinned enough to reveal pre-dawn pallor above the enclave's east ridge, but now a reddish glow silhouetted the mountain's western slope. Without my zoom goggles, I could only imagine the lava rolling from a fissure halfway up the cone's flank. I sank to a sitting kneel once more, but I didn't relax. The fiery thread of the initial overflow, bright in the first blue light, still twined its way down the volcano's face toward the enclave. There you go.
Ooh, that was a heavy one.
So now the question, and let's get some really creative answers here.
Okay.
Earth spirits. Give me your best description of what you think they look like and what their voices sound like. What kind of mythical creature would you compare them to? Have fun.
Yep. Go nuts. Win a free book. And we're going to give them time to contemplate and write that down. We'll keep talking.
Okay.
And then we'll pick either towards the end of the show, or if the storm starts getting a little too close for you, then we'll pick then.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard a couple of thunder rumbles back here, and I think I heard a little bit of rain, but we're okay.
All right, cool.
We
So
went through hurricanes here, so
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and think about that. Have fun with it. Yeah, earth spirits. And let's see. So yeah, 3 copies. We'll give away 3 copies, your choice of either ebook or print.
Okay.
And I can I'll autograph the print ones. And sorry, I can't do that for the ebook ones.
All right. Well,
maybe I can send you a booklet.
yeah. So I've interviewed you for some of your books, but not all of them. Can you take us through kind of the evolution of the books and your main character in the book? Because you said it kind of started YA, but it's not YA anymore, or
Right. Yeah. When I first started writing it, and I started this and it's gone through various iterations. I started it soon after retiring from the Air Force in 2009. I think it was 2010 or something when I really got started on it. And it did go through various drafts and iterations. And it did start out as YA. Ku was originally 16 and turned 17 in the course of the book. And then I realized, no, he really needs to be older than that, just based on some of what he has to do through certainly by the end of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so I boosted his age up to 19, not quite 20.
Mm-hmm.
So in that one, he's kind of carrying the baggage of his traditional culture, and there's been some expectations put on him that he doesn't want anything to do with, and he's always kind of, okay, I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. So he lies about his age, runs away from home, joins the military, and he has been a bush pilot up until now, flying over the desert. Think of the Great Southwest, kind of only more severe. This planet's got a really severe planetary tilt, so seasons are very drastic. You get 6 months of winter and 6 months of summer, and they're both very, very severe, with a few somewhat normal months in between. Anyway, so the planet is called Tempest, with good reason. Anyway, but he runs away from home, becomes a fighter pilot, and he's able to draw on all of this bush pilot experience in this very violent atmosphere, which puts him in really good stead for combat maneuvering and stuff like that. And so he makes even before he leaves Tempest and arrives on Solian, he makes an enemy. And this guy is sort of a rival all through pilot training and basic training and pilot training. And this rival happens to be the son of the great chief of the great council of all clans. So he's got some pull, and he does a couple things that only because of who his mother is does he get out of trouble. So yeah, he's somebody and he continues to give Ku a bad time through most of the other books. So there's some serious rivalry there. Mountains of the Gods is the first part of Ku's actual active duty career, and he's involved in several battles. And toward the end of the book, he gets shot down over enemy held territory on a world called Ardenar. He ends up in crashing, ejecting over mountains, and he's wounded and having to make his way back to the LZ, the exfiltration point, and it's quite a bit of territory. So he's on foot, making his way very stealthily through these mountains, dealing with this rather severe injury. Ripped up one of his dominant arm. So he's dealing with that. And during the course before he's rescued, he has an experience that lets him know who he really is and what his destiny really is. He's not really destined to be the death bringer that his home clan had tried to convince him that he was. So he finds out what his destiny really is in Mountains of the Gods. And then the other books after that, he's kind of growing, and he has different challenges in each book. In Crucible, he's got to deal with getting his hand usable again, so he can hold the control stick, work the control stick in a fighter. And he's just and this is where the love interest comes into play. So those of you who like a little bit of romance, this is where some of there's a little more of a stronger romantic element in this one. Let's see, and then Apprentice to the Gods. This is this is where he ends up going back to Tempest and going through remedial shaman training, if you will. He has to learn. He and by now his wife have to learn how to go off the grid, basically, and learn to live a very primitive lifestyle so that they can teach other people how to live that primitive lifestyle. And so they spend about 6 months living in a cliff dwelling. And at one point, John and I took a road trip through, was it in Nevada, John? Near
New Mexico.
Huh?
New Mexico.
New Mexico. Gila Canyon in New Mexico. And there's these little cliff dwellings tucked up in this little side canyon. And we walked through that, and I went, oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to touch it. It's a national treasure, But if they could build a replica of this, it would be ideal for where for Ku and his wife spend these months in remedial shaman training. and that's not all they're learning to do. They're learning these chants and stuff like this. and learning to work with the elements.
Hmm.
And so this is why Ku at this point can call on some of the um, chants that he uses in Trial by the Gods, because he's had that experience. And so then now there's a whole new set of challenges coming up. He's going through Kalataka training. The Kalataka are sort of the equivalent of Navy SEALs, except they operate on land rather than water.
Hmm.
And they're supposed to be, when this volcano situation happens, they're supposed to be just starting their equivalent of Hell Week. And there's a group of civilians living on this island who are they kind of help out with the training. They play the roles of pirates or whatever, and in the scenarios and stuff, and the trainees have to deal with them. So they're living on this island, but there's an earthquake just before the volcano goes off, and multiple injuries in this village. And so suddenly their training scenario is dumped in favor of a real world rescue mission. And so that's what you're seeing here in this sequence with the volcano, because the lava's going to come right down on this little village. So anyway.
So no, this is awesome. So for the people that are watching this in the future, who aren't initiated to the series, what is Ku's cultural background?
If it were planet Earth, he'd be Native American, probably. I'm most familiar with some of the nations in the Four Corners area. I have a Navajo foster brother.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm somewhat familiar with Navajo, Hopi, Zuni cultures. And so I took a few elements from their cultures and tweaked them into something different called the Chalka.
Hmm.
But think somewhat Native American like.
Hmm.
No feathers, though.
Hmm.
Um, that's too culturally sensitive, so I wasn't going to go there.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, but yeah, there are some aspects that do resemble Native Americans, and just um, chanting. That's a very important part of many Native indigenous peoples. It's part of their religions, their belief systems.
Hmm.
Here's a little interesting little side trip. When I was in Iraq, I worked with a woman. She was a warrant officer, Army warrant officer. She was half Navajo. And so she was familiar with the chanting and stuff of Navajo ceremonies. And of course, sitting there out Victory Base out near the um, Baghdad airport, you get the calls to prayer 5 times a day.
Hmm.
And she had a really good ear for the mullahs, doing the calls to prayer.
Hmm.
And one evening she says to me, "That's the one with a good voice. Something's going to happen."
Hmm.
Sure enough, somewhere within 12 to 24 hours, we had a rocket attack.
Oh wow.
So I learned to pay attention too.
Hmm.
You get the old ones with the old gravelly voices, and then you get the young voice, and you go, "Uh-oh."
Hmm.
So anyway, just a
Self-preservation
little
is a
side
great
trip.
motivator.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
yeah,
no, I thought, and these covers are awesome. I love the latest. I think the latest one, "Trial by the Gods," is my favorite. I love the color of the volcano.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
um,
yeah. I
so
think
the
he's
theme,
done all of.
who's done all?
Yeah, let's see. Shazad Sudar. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's one who's done my covers. Yeah.
yeah. And so you have gods in all your titles. What, if you can share without ruining everything? What is the story behind the titles of your books?
Okay, so their gods. It's kind of a pantheon again, Native American-esque,
Hmm.
but they've got their creator figure. They call him the sower of the stars.
Hmm.
They think of him as kind of like a the old farmers who walk along and toss out the seed into the furrows. And so he planted all of the stars and then chanted them into life and created all the creatures and stuff like that. And then so the sower of the stars, and he's created all these worlds. And then they have the ancient ones who are basically messengers from from the Star Father, the sower of the stars, to the mortals.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been 6 of them. And so the people are waiting for their long-awaited 7th shaman. And in that reading there, Shaman Shia, who's the first of these shamans of the ancient ones, speaks to Ku during that prayer chant and addresses him as Wanakia, which is the 7th shaman. And by now, of course, Ku knows that he has this role, so he's trying to grow into it. But yeah, that's but they're the ancient ones are basically messengers from Starfather to the mortals, and they've come at different periods throughout the Chalka, their history, and they've come at different times and with different purposes, and so they each of them has sort of a different mission or a different form of service or whatever to the Chalka people at the time that they come. So that's where that comes from.
That's awesome. So, I love the fact that you matured, or you evolved the books along with the character. So as the character matured, the books become a little bit more mature and everything. I really like that.
Yeah, here in
The
Trial by the Gods, Ku's 23, pushing 24. So yeah,
Okay.
there's some time has passed when he was 19 and running. So
And let's see, we've got some audience members. We've got some comments coming in. You still have time to win a book. Let's go through some of the comments here. Jimbo McCoy says Sasquatches are earth spirits. What appears to be long hair is actually strings of lichen and mushrooms. They have a smell similar to peat bog, and they often hide in caves and avoid people. Let's see.
So Jimbo, are you saying that my earth spirits here are basically Sasquatches? That's interesting. I like the concept of lichens and mushrooms. That's
Yeah.
have a smell like peat bog. That's okay. That's good. Let's see what else
Let's
we've got.
see. I pictures God made of stone and earth. They have all the colors and textures of stones and minerals. They move deliberately yet smoothly. Their voices are gravelly. I see what I did. Yeah, we see what you did there. And deep. Let's see. Jimbo's back with another comment. Their voices are deep and gravelly with a strong Scottish accent. Okay. Yes, and
Scottish accent.
yeah, I like that. There's yes, and let's see. Difference between Ku and a donkey is that Ku isn't carrying a heavy pack when Diane beats him up.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Sharon.
Actually, Ku is carrying a rucksack a lot of the time in this book. So
Oh, so
yeah.
he does catch a beating with a load on his back. All right. Let's see. Earth Spirit. Deep bass, rocky voice, solid rocky arms and legs. Visualize the Earth giants from Frozen 2. Strong and angry, who doesn't like to be disturbed. Yes, yes, indeed.
Getting some good responses here.
Oh yeah.
These are good.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, the covers are good. I do like these covers.
Yeah, they're fantastic, and I think they get better with each one.
I
The
really like the
Ku
latest
on the
one.
cover, Koo on the cover running doesn't really look like, and I think I've posted pictures of Koo on my Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
so you can see what Koo really looks like. So, but anyway, yeah. But I love these covers. They're I think they're getting better with each one.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Melissa, you
Mm. Oh yeah.
you missed the reading, Melissa, but it'll be available later.
Yep.
We're trying to dodge a tornado here.
All right. So speaking of, let's go ahead and pick our people. I think we still got room for some more winners. So if you have an idea of what the Earth spirits would look like, sound like, go ahead and put it in now. So for
And I don't
now,
know if you can hear it or not, but that thunder's getting closer.
all right. So let's pick real quick. Let's see. I'm gonna say, do you want to pick or you want me to pick?
Why don't you go ahead?
All right. Well, Jimbo came in strong, so we're gonna let him win one. Jimbo, let us know how you want it. If you want an ebook or if you want hard copy. Let's see. Tony, you're a winner. Do the same, please. Let us know how you want it, an ebook or a hard copy. And then last but not least, we're going to go with Sharon. Um, and same thing for you, Sharon. Please let us know how you would like your gift. And Jimbo says he wants an autographed copy. I don't blame you. We'll
So
collect
that
his
means
item
he'll go
there.
with a print one. So he'll have a print one then for that.
And
Okay,
then
Tony.
same for Tony. And
And
then who else did I say? Sheila. Yeah. No, Sharon. Uh,
Sharon.
Sharon. Let us know how you'd like your book. Otherwise, we're going to pick for you. Um, so, so since the storm's getting close, tell everybody where they can find you online, where they can, get to know you besides here on the CKP YouTube channel.
Okay. Um, all right. Looks like all three of them want print copies. Can do EG, as we use her here in Korea all the time. My website is a little tricky. It's HTTPS, etc. d-t-read-author.com. The domain name of just DT Read was not available. So
Somebody got
we
it.
had to stretch it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I can type it out here somewhere or not.
Oh, I'm gonna
Can I
put it
type
in
out a
the I'm gonna put it in the description of the video.
Okay, great. Yeah, so that's my website, and you can sign up for the newsletter there. I do that once a month, and Marissa, we may have to talk. I'm still having a few issues with SendFox as far as getting a welcome email set up. But I call myself a techno idiot. I'm not good at things like that. So anyway, yeah, SendFox is definitely a lot easier to work with than the one I had previously. But anyway, I do that usually about the middle of the month, and just try to have a little bit of fun with it, tell what's going on with my books, tell what's going on with my friends' books, and who else has got books coming out besides me, and just sometimes a little bit of insight into the way I do research or stuff like that. I try to have fun with it.
And they
So
can sign up for your newsletter on your website.
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
And you mentioned your Patreon earlier.
yeah, and that one's easier. It's just patreon.com/dtread.
Awesome, awesome. And do
And
you?
that's where you get the sneak peeks and stuff like that. It
Uh,
was my Patreon people that I said, okay, we have a choice of two scenes that we can read, and I put up a poll and let them vote. So they get some privileges like that. um, and sometimes samples of what I'm working on. I'll let them give me feedback. So get them involved. That's what I try to do with the Patreon, and let people have some involvement with what I'm working on too. And I really value people's input, and sometimes just get into discussions and stuff. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, Patreon.
So go check that out, folks. It's a great way to support your favorite authors. Go to their Patreons, of course, buy their books. Go to their website. You have a great
Yeah,
website. In fact, the book covers that you're seeing right now, I stole from your website. I had the regular flat copies, and I went to your website. I don't know who your web person is, but they do a good job.
yeah. Her name is Angela Ford, and I love how she does these 3D covers
Yeah.
all over the website. And as a matter of fact, I need to contact her and let her know that we need, because we need to add the buy now button for trial,
Hmm.
and let her know to update the audio versions for Crucible. And I don't think she's even got audio listed for Mountains of the Gods yet. And then we're soon going to have Apprentice, probably within a month, coming out in audio too. So yeah, and yeah, I've got on my do list here. Contact Angela about
Hmm.
the stuff we need to touch up on the website. But she does a fantastic job, and she's very good, and really easy to work with, fun to work with. So
And speaking of, so Trial by the Gods will be out tomorrow or
tomorrow, yeah,
tonight at midnight. Uh, and I will include the link in the description of this video. So if you're watching this video now or in the future and you haven't bought the book, go buy the book. It sounds like a wonderful series. Now, one thing I wanted to ask is, so it's definitely um, sci-fi in the beginnings of like when I first started interviewing you about this series, it definitely had the like military sci-fi vibe to it. But now it's kind of sounds like it's going more into almost like has some fantasy elements to it,
yeah.
or magical
I call it I call it military space fantasy. I
Mhm.
don't know if that's a thing, but
Now.
yeah, and the fantasy elements just come from Ku's culture and the chants, like what you heard in the reading here.
Mhm,
So things that Ku learns to do. Uh,
mhm. That
so
was a
yeah,
good read. That got me wanting to read it. So that was a good reading.
oh, thank you. Oh, looks like we've got more comments.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So yeah, me neither. I'm excited about where the series has gone. I'm excited for you. I'm glad that you're able to get. You said you're going to 7 books.
Yeah, it'll be a 7 book series. I was just noticing Jimbo's comment down here, a la Star Wars, when it was really good. I kind of describe it as Wind Talker meets Top Gun. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it sounds wonderful. I'm really and it must be good if you're getting 7 books out of it. So I'm very happy for you. And I thank you for coming on the show
Oh,
and
thanks
talking
for
about
having
it.
me.
And you've always been a good guest. I don't even have to harass you. You just you come on, and I appreciate that. And so tonight, midnight, tomorrow when you wake up, buy the book. You won't be disappointed, and go support your authors. And when you buy the book, leave a description. You can find all the CK
Yeah, leave a review.
yes, leave.
Yeah, reviews are gold.
Yeah, rate, review, anywhere that you can find them. You can find these on ckppublishing.com. Of course, you can find them on Amazon by searching DT Read. And but go support your favorite authors, and like, rate, review any chance you get, because it really does help them out. So if you like somebody and you want to support them, that's a great way to do it. And of course, their Patreon and their newsletters and things like that. But rating and reviewing is where it's at. So help your favorite authors out. Of course, my name is Jeremy Como. You can catch me here. We're not doing as many shows these days. My job is kind of taking me away a little bit, but we're going to keep on doing these at least a couple a month. And Diane, you're kind of helping me kick that off again because we took a little bit of a hiatus, but we're back. And so check us out here. You can also check me out on the Bang podcast, the Bang Free Radio Hour podcast. I'm there from time to time. I'm one of their guest hosts there. So if you're not sick of my voice yet, go check me out there. I interview people like DJ Butler, Timothy Zahn, David.
Very cool.
So go check me out there. Where'd I go?
I disappeared.
There we go. And
one reason I wanted to do this time is because it has been a while since I've had a book come out. I'm trying to get started on book 6, but I've been dealing with all the audiobook stuff and getting this one ready to go and a couple of other things. So tomorrow I'm going to lock in and work on book 6. Yes, and Jeremy is a great host. I do enjoy doing these.
Well, it's great. I mean, this is what our third one that we've done.
I think so. I think we did Running in Mountains.
Yeah.
Or I guess we didn't do any of the Sergey books, right?
No. It's just been your God's books. So
the Shaman books, yeah.
So when can we expect 6 to come out?
Well, I think I'm going to have to go lock myself in a hotel room or something and get some serious writing done.
Right.
I do that occasionally. There's a nice little Holiday Inn Express nearby, and bless John, he's willing to take over managing my depics or our depics.
Oh yeah.
Well, and let me go spend a week in a hotel room writing, and I've done that from time to time. I'm thinking after everything, all the craziness lately, that I probably need to do that again sometime soon.
Okay, and then your latest audiobook comes out when?
Crucible got released yesterday. Crucible officially released it yesterday, along with the covers for Rob Howell's book and the Companion of Ghosts. Okay, so cool. He had had three of our books posted at the same time, and so yesterday was a Crucible in audio, and the rate James is going with Apprentice. It'll be probably within a month, sometime before we finished chapter 21 of 47 chapters on 21 today on Apprentice.
So. Awesome. Well, Diane, it has been a pleasure. I wish you the best of luck with the weather. I hope you do not fly away and you stay put and safe and dry. And of course, anytime you want to come on, you are welcome. Just let me know and we'll get it going. And to everybody else, thank y'all for watching now and in the future. Please like and subscribe and do the same for your favorite authors. And we'll see you next time.